Welcome to another edition of the Tea and Tice, a Great British Wrestling podcast for Great British Wrestling, as featured on the Jonas Podcasting Network. We are here. We are going to finally talk about it. You've been asking for it. Well, nobody's asked for it, and nobody cares. But we're going to give our opinion on AEW All In. I know we said we wouldn't, but we are. Okay? It's just happening. You'll have to listen to us talk about it. I am, of course, the Great British Otaku, Mr. Andrew Moore, Andy Tumos. I am joined, as always, by my co-host. He is the enigmatic, the man that was attacked by Vinny Cray of UBW, Big Daddy Dan, Councillor Daniel Allen.
And it is a real AEW review. And if you've got a problem, cry me a river.
Yeah, you know what? Just because everybody out of the entire world will want our opinion on it as well, we should probably also give our opinion on that matter. And I'm sure everybody knows what that matter is. Before that, we would just like to send our very best well wishes, hugs, and hope you heal well and heal fast. Rain Leverkusen, who's going to be out of action for 9 to 12 months due to an ACL tear. She went on social media just the other day, in fact last night as we're recording, and we just wish her all the best. She's an amazing young star. She had all the potential in the world. She was a rising star.
Has all the potential.
Has all the potential in the world, and she will be back as a massive rising star of the UK scene. Over the last year, Rain has dominated everywhere from the south of Wales to the north of England.
And she's done this, I'm not going to say out of nowhere, but she's definitely come up a lot faster than a lot of people. And brilliant wrestler, really entertaining. And good luck to her. Heal soon, get out there, meet and greet, do management, support people, do commentary. We will support you in every way we can. We love Rain.
Yeah, go check out her, if she has any online shops, see if she's got any merch that you can buy. Help support her, because as we always say here, support the British wrestlers, support the British wrestling scene. Don't be dicks like some people and not pay people.
I know. I mean, they're trying to work out where CM Punk might end up going next, and I'm sure we'll discuss this in a minute. But I think CM Punk to 1PW. There you go. You heard it here first.
Yeah, CM Punk to 1PW. Oh yes, that's exactly why they couldn't pay any of the British talent. You know, how else were you going to pay for CM Punk? So we don't mean to make light of any sort of situations. As I say, big well wishes to Rain Leverkusen. We won't be talking.
Quickly, Rain Leverkusen has a brilliant big cartel where you can get some awesome t-shirt designs and some signed prints. T-shirts are 20 quid, signed prints are a tenner.
You'll get yourself some. That's all we're saying. She does have that. I do love the Make It Rain with the yeah, that's a great t-shirt. And did show my missus earlier. I said, do you want one? She said yes. So that's me down, isn't it? Support British wrestlers, that's what we say here. It's great to be back, and we're not going to be talking about 1PW, okay? We talked about it last time on the podcast. I gave my thoughts very clear on it. That the only time I want to talk about 1PW is when the promotion, when I can tell you the promotion is definitely dead, gone, or sold to some better owners. Till then, I'm not going to talk about 1PW because, you know, that's just it. Let's talk about AEW All In. I know it's 2 weeks later than everybody else has talked about it, but we're still going to do it. God damn it. Stephen Soudan, the tribal chief of the Big Fat Geeks. He was there live. He showed us photos. He showed us videos and so forth. I think right now he's trying to write up a quick little few notes for us on the. I can see it keep coming up on the old WhatsApp messenger. I asked him for some quick notes on it. it looked impressive.
Aye.
82,000 or whatever the number was. My God, wow. It looked huge.
81,035.
81,035. You know, it is the biggest paid attendance ever in wrestling. So amazing. Well done, UK.
There was also talk that
Well done, AEW as well.
Yeah, that numbers-wise, in the arena would actually have been closer to 90,000, with all of the staff, the support staff, the wrestlers, everyone that AEW bought in, the people that have been given free tickets. It would probably been closer to 90,000.
That is, as you say, it's massively incredible. It was so big. I actually asked Dan when we first got on it, were they actually using a smaller ring? Because I just the awe of the size of everything else actually made that ring look. It made it look like a British wrestler ring. No offense, Brit Rest, but it didn't look like it was a full size ring. But wow, and I'm going to just put my straight thoughts in there right now. And I'm going to say that I didn't buy the pay-per-view. I watched it free on ITV and then on the ITVX on demand. And I'm kind of glad I did. But I'm not invested in the overall AEW product like obviously many other people are going to be. I don't watch their episodes week to week. The best I keep up with is what WOS or what Coaholic are saying. I don't really follow it all that much. I've got too much British wrestling to keep up with. It's hard, you know. There's a lot, over 100 bloody companies. Okay, but even though I only watch about 10 of them via on-demand services, that's still a lot.
But tell me, what did you think of the show overall?
As I say, I'm quite glad I didn't pay for the whole pay-per-view. I'm not sure if it was truly worth it for the price it was paid. But again, as I say, it could come down to the fact that I am not invested into the overall product as many others. As to match quality, I'm not saying the match quality was bad.
There are a couple of hardcore matches which you're not massively into either.
You can get right out here with football fuckery or stadium shithousery. It's crap. It's garbage TV.
It was badly filmed and edited. I enjoyed that match, but it was badly filmed and edited because you couldn't actually follow any of the individuals going on.
All I'm thinking for myself is you're letting the guys bleed in the VIP lounge. Do you think those football punters are going to want to see AEW blood on the carpet? No.
A very good point.
It did. Did you see Man Like Doris as well at that point?
Yeah.
Love it, Man Like Doris. I think we know who's facing Eddie Kingston at Progress. We'll be talking about that later. But yeah, so of course he wasn't the only Brit Rest guy over there. There was a lot of guys. You had Danny Duggan, Damian Corvin, Michael Oku, Leon Slater, Man Like Doris, Simon Miller, Ethan Kelly, and Rohan Royosha, and then somebody who I couldn't recognize or couldn't place. It might have been a Billington, but I'm not sure.
I thought I saw a Billington. I know they were there.
So it could have been a Billington.
Now, I will say, our Brit Rest security guys looked a little bit small.
Yeah. Look, Man Like Doris is quite built. He's a bit of a unit. Leon Slater, he's young. He's somewhat tall, and he's got Michael Oku's like 100 and.
Let's be honest.
Michael Oku's a fantastic wrestler. And somebody I've learned to fall in love with over the last year. When I used to hate watching Michael Oku wrestle. I love watching Michael Oku wrestle now, so I'm not going to get on him too much. But he does look small.
Yeah, the best looking security guard was Simon Miller.
Yeah, everybody else in really nice, tight, black t-shirts or shirt, there's Simon Miller in a goddamn V-neck.
He obviously had the time of his absolute life, and fair play to him. Now, matches. Let's talk about matches. Let's talk about the Women's Championship 4-way match.
It was one of the best matches on the show.
Yes, it was. And they kind of threw away a lot of storyline.
Yeah. As I say, I know that Tony and Thing were supposed to be a team, Outcast, NWO, all that malarkey. But yeah, I didn't like the way it fell apart.
Yeah,
It was just
did fall apart, but
it was
right
a cheap way to get it to that stage.
It was the right result, though.
Yes, I believe so, given the fact that Jamie Hayter could not be there and reclaim that championship. But yeah, I would agree that having Saraya win is the right choice.
One thing I did notice, RKJ did not get in the ring. Everybody else got in the ring. RKJ didn't.
Yeah, I actually did notice that as well. I'm thinking RKJ got himself into the ring, but Zach, he was in there for quite some time. He was like the first one in there, and I think the last one out.
Yeah.
Look, you know, fair play if they tried to get maximized. You know what? The Knights got more TV time than the women did.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a joke. I'm taking cheap shots, I know, but I think they did. You know? But I thought that was actually one of the better matches on the show. I didn't think much of the coffin match with Sting.
I thoroughly enjoyed the coffin match.
Not a fan of Darby Allin.
I get that. I like Darby Allin, but I really like Swerve.
I really like Swerve too.
And Swerve's entrance was awesome.
Yes, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like Swerve a lot. Now, Chris Jericho. Will
Ospreay carried that boy to a great match. Will Ospreay carried that young superstar that nobody has heard of to one of the best matches of his life.
It was brilliant because Jericho knows what he can do, and he does it well. And he knows what he can't do, and he goes, "I'll do it anyway." And he does that well as well. Yeah, Ospreay was obviously the leading light of the match.
I'm massively impressed with how good that match was. It was the best match of the night.
Yep.
And I was surprised that how well Jericho did manage to keep up. I joke that Will Ospreay obviously carried him. Yes, Will Ospreay certainly helped and certainly made it a damn sight better match than probably anybody else could have, because no matter who Will Ospreay gets in the ring with, it'll be good. And to be honest, most times it'll be great. And yeah, wasn't his best match of the weekend though.
No,
it was not. I'll talk about his best match of the weekend a little bit later.
And Jericho's entrance. If you are the lead singer of a band and you've got the opportunity to play Wembley, even if it's one song, why the hell not?
No, you see, I see it as a different way. If you're somebody from any other band that comes to the UK and plays in a giant stadium like that, don't do Queen. Don't.
The whole point was Queen all the way through. You had the Young Bucks in the Freddie Mercury outfits. It was mentioned repeatedly. Jim Ross not realizing that Freddie Mercury was dead.
No. Yeah, but trying to do the famous. Exactly. Really, Jericho? Really?
Oh, the fans loved it. I loved it.
Really, Joe? Really, Big Daddy? Really, UK Stadium?
Grado.
I was so happy Grado got his moment. Such a shame he didn't get Madonna, but you know, she cost far too much money.
But they got
Obviously.
Metallica
They got Metallica, yes.
for Sting, which was cool.
Aussie Open. Oh,
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
yeah. I mean, I was so amped at the fact that they were getting this opportunity in front of this huge crowd returning. You know, yes, they're not UK guys, but yes, they grew up in our scene. They teamed in our scene. They wouldn't be the guys they were without our scene. And yes, they are great at comedic. Okay, of course they are. They've worked with Lycos at Schadenfreude and Chris Brooks and all those guys. Of course they can do. And I'm sure they were well happy to do it because they're consummate professionals. They also of the mind of wrestling can be fun and should be fun at times. But I did feel like they got comedy spotted out.
They had to do it as a comedy spot match because they had to make sure that they didn't do anything to endanger the main event match of the show.
Yes.
So they had to do it in that way. But also, look at it this way. They got to wrestle the champion, the most important person in that company. And while somebody who was in that company, who isn't in that company anymore, might have think they're the most important person in that company, they're not. MJF is.
Yeah.
Let's
talk about the Punk and show match.
Yes.
It was good.
Yes.
It wasn't great. It wasn't amazing.
It wasn't like their matches from 20 years ago, but that's probably because they were 20 years ago.
I probably wouldn't have done the Pepsi plunge finish because he couldn't even lock his hands together and he completely botched the move.
Yeah. Yeah, not going to lie. I can understand why they did the Pepsi plunge finish. There is the whole storyline going back 20 odd years. Yes, it is the correct move to do.
Again, you should check out the Stevie Richards breakdown again. It's really, really amazing breakdown of what went wrong and why it didn't work. And it literally comes down to the fact that he couldn't lock his hands behind his back. And if he couldn't lock his hands behind his back, he couldn't lift him. So Joe had to do most of the heavy lifting, which he did in that match anyway.
Yeah.
Up next, what were the other 6-man tag team match? Was it Bullet Club Gold and Takeshita versus Omega, Kota, and Hangman. So I used to be the biggest Kota mark out there.
Yep.
He is not on his level at the moment.
No.
He is not there yet. I'm sure it's some ring rust. He was out for a long time. He had a lot of nagging injuries. And I hope he could, because he's got this major spot now with AEW. And he's an amazing talent when he's at his best. One of the best. I mean, his matches against Ospreay are legendary over in New Japan. Really, really are. And yeah, he's just not quite on it yet. Like there was a few spots that almost worrying at times. Like it was a good, not great 6-man tag match.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
I saw, I think Meltzer gave it like 4.5, and I'm like, really? Definitely not the score I would have given it. It'd be more like like somewhere between 3.5. Good, not great.
He's got his nose so far up AEW's backside, though, it's unreal.
is a little true, yes. The Young Bucks versus the FTR match was a great, above good,
It was
maybe
excellent.
not quite amazing or great. I would put it around 4. I don't think it's as good as the previous Young Bucks matches. I don't think it's as good as the FTR versus the Briscoe matches. I don't think it's as good as the FTR versus United Empire or the Bullet Club Gold versus FTR matches that were recently taken place. I
I give
felt it
you
was
that.
below them.
I give you that. And what surprised me was there were no tricks or gimmicks. It was pretty much a straight wrestling match.
Yeah, I probably, but
There were so many other gimmicks on the show.
yeah, you needed to have some sort of straight tag match. There was some good back and forth action. The FTR are one of the best tag teams in the world. Young Bucks are in the vicinity of that area. But just
On this night, I will give you that Will Ospreay was the better wrestler than Kenny Omega.
well, Kenny Omega didn't get a singles match, so yeah, that's thing. And then, of course, the main event itself, which I say for me was just below the Ospreay Jericho match, but it was a very good main event.
It was very interesting to have a double babyface main event. It had its suitable levels of stupidity. Double clothesline.
It's only very early on as well, of course. The opening and the segment parts of the match, of course, very slow to start, and then it really started to get going once old MJF did the eye poke. Yeah,
I
match
love
he had.
the standoff with the chair.
I do feel the homage to Eddie Guerrero is so played out now that it needs to go away again for a little while.
I think the advantage with this one was because you've got them both as friends and you're trying to demonstrate they don't want to hurt each other. It made sense.
Yes.
They weren't doing it in a let's screw each other. They're doing it in a I don't want to hurt you, but I still want to do this.
But I'm just going to say that Will Ospreay and Nathan Cruz did this exact spot in Super Strong Style 16.
Yeah.
Like, down to a T, this exact spot where they threw the chair back and forth to each other, and then Nathan Cruz placed it on his head as the referee turned around. And, well, for that one, he did DQ'd Will Ospreay, and that's how he got eliminated. But for the occasional schmoz, I don't think it was offensive. It was a good main event. 2 amazing workers. That is, Cole and MJF. I'm a big fan of MJF. Always have been. Always will be. Even back in when I was watching MLW, watching him as part of Dynasty with Richard Holiday and Alex Hammerstone. They were amazing combination and really great segments, and you can see the quality that MJF had at that time. That was before he signed with AEW. So, yeah, it's not surprising to see where he is now. I'd like to see Richard Holiday and Alex Hammerstone eventually make their way over to AEW at some point, because Dynasty was great. But go on then. What were your any other thoughts on the show as overall?
Gutted I couldn't be there. I love the way they laid out the stadium. I love the way they did it. I love the fact that they sold so many tickets without announcing a single match. I love the fact that when they announced CM Punk, there wasn't a giant spike in tickets. I will be going in August of next year to Wembley Stadium to watch AEW All In 2.
That's it. Now I've got some feedback here from the tribal chief of the Big Fat Geeks. He said the ticket prices were amazing. The show itself was brilliant. The best matches were Ospreay, Jericho, and Punk and Joe. The whole day was brilliant. The atmosphere inside and outside the stadium was electric. AEW is just what the industry needed to give competition to WWE, to push to be bigger and better companies, which brings more eyes to wrestling, which helps the indies.
Good play there, Stephen.
I agree to a degree, because all the best indie stars ended up signing for AEW.
But AEW let them go on the indies.
They do. They need to let a few more. I think they need to start letting people go on excursions.
I think that's a genuine possibility.
I think that's something we should see more. Guys like Nick Wayne and whatnot. Go let them do some excursions. Pay for them to go wrestle places.
Did. I mean, let's be honest. They signed Nick Wayne and then said, "Go off and wrestle for a year."
Well, that's because he wasn't old enough to compete in the New York. He wasn't over 18, so he couldn't sign a professional, and he couldn't compete in New York.
Hey, and they've signed -1, and they've sent him off for like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, so that's why he didn't appear for a year.
I know.
They literally had to wait for him to be 18. But yeah, no, something like that. They have a bloated roster right now, probably a more bloated roster than the WWE have, and
I would argue that now they've got Collision and now they've separated the brands.
Now it's been a soft brand split, it hasn't been a full brand split, and
but Collision is doing brilliantly, and I think you would actually really enjoy the Collision show because it is more story wrestling focused.
Yeah, but CM Punk's gone now.
Yeah,
gonna be back to the old ways.
You know what I watch it for? I watch it for the House of Black.
Did we mention House of Black?
Actually, yes, let's mention House of Black's entrance just quickly. They came out with the lantern, which I thought was lovely.
Amazing. And I would absolutely like to say, my God, Billy Gunn, Jesus, what are you drinking, eating?
Now, this one's going to have a little bit of a falling out.
Well, I'm not saying he looked good.
Oh, he did look good. But I'm angry at Billy Gunn.
I'm just saying he actually, because Brody King is supposed to look like an absolute monster.
He does.
Billy Gunn made him look small.
Billy Gunn's 6'5", a lot of muscle. However,
and he made King look a bit small.
And 56.
56. Now, that's a problem.
The problem for me is he kicked out of the Black Mass.
Yeah, no one's kicked out of the Black Mass till now.
He kicked out of the Black Mass. Now, I understand that he is big. I understand he has a lot of clout and sway and good reputation, but he kicked out of the Black Mass.
I'm assuming, obviously, Malachi knew that was going to happen, so I'm assuming Malachi actually gave him the permission to do so.
Yes.
As long as they don't let anyone do it again anytime soon, I think they can possibly get away with it.
I do hope so, because nobody does a kick like that.
So, Mr. Daniel Allen, you said you're going to buy tickets next year.
Yep.
Now, I've seen many of the photos that got posted online and so forth and whatnot, and I still don't know if I could do such a huge stadium show, because I'm not well off. I'm not. I can't afford decent tickets, and I'm not important enough to get media anymore. Should have stayed at Body Slam. But even then, I doubt I actually would have got media. But so
I
I'm not
will be going. My 9-year-old daughter was very angry with me that she didn't get to go this year, but I was DJing, and I will definitely be getting tickets for next year's event.
So which tier?
Depends on how I'm doing financially at the time. Is that simple? I will see how much money I have in the bank, and then I will decide how much of it I am going to give to Tony Khan.
That's a fair way to answer that question.
It's
You're not supposed to be fair on this channel.
honest is definitely the easiest option because it sort of like saves you from lying.
Yeah.
And lying will always bite you in the arse.
Mm. Yeah, I get. I'll have to have a look, but I just, I don't have huge amounts of time to follow the product hugely. I
get
can
that.
see the whole AEW has been good for WWE. In fact, AEW's probably done better for WWE than WWE had for the last 5 years because suddenly they've got sold out, shows and 2.5 million people watching SmackDown on a Friday bloody night or whatever. It's been good for WWE. It's been good for AEW as well.
Mm-hmm. Right. We've spent half an hour talking about a show we said we wouldn't talk about.
Oh shit. Yeah, we did. CM Punk. I always thought he was a bit of a Bret Hart. And now I'm vindicated and always saying that I always thought he was a bit of a Bret Hart.
I loved watching CM Punk wrestle. Amy, my wife, always didn't like CM Punk. Always found him to be arrogant and self-opinionated whenever she watched any of the interviews or backstage stuff. And
Yep.
she was completely right and vindicated as well. And I loved watching CM Punk, and I tried to watch the world through rose-coloured or even Pepsi-coloured glasses. And yeah, let's be honest, he's been a bit of a dick backstage a number of times, hasn't he?
Yeah. I think, as I say, I always thought he was someone definitely, always felt really highly opinionated of himself. And he always believed he was better than what he should have been. He always believed he should have been main eventing WrestleMania when he shouldn't have been. And I still think he would have if he had just waited his turn.
I've heard rumours and speculation that one of the reasons that he's actually gone is because it happened at Wembley, where there was CCTV, as well as him having to go at Tony Khan directly, and where previous issues have been, there haven't been the CCTV, which has led to a lot of the he said, she said BS. Whereas at Wembley, there's CCTV absolutely everywhere. That's rumor and speculation, what I have read online.
Indeed. I have had lots of fun watching both sides of the people be really one way and then the other people be really the other way. It's so funny. Because I just ignore it. I don't get involved in it on Twitter, but I just love watching the people getting
Bully Ray as well, his comments.
Oh god, just what a bunch of malarkey is all I can say. Okay, so they weren't the only people who were putting on shows. We do know Progress had its clobbering time, and Revolution Pro had their 11th year anniversary show. Yes. And then there was a Eve and Gato Move or Choco Pro show as well. And they are all now available on their variety of whatevers. YouTube for Pro Wrestling, Eve, Progress on Demand Plus, or Demand Progress Plus, that's the one. That's the new service for Progress Wrestling. It's on there, and Rev Pro UK is, of course, on Rev Pro on Demand. So, I'm going to go for Eve first.
Go!
Miyu Yamashita defeated Emerson Chain to retain the Pro Wrestling Eve Championship. The Debbie Keitel and the Royal Aces defeated Orange Panna Cotta, which is Chi Kosekawa and Sayaka. Also teaming with Session Moth Martina. As I say, Debbie Keitel and Royal Aces won that match. You had Masahiro Takanashi and Mei Sugiura versus Kanji and Kid Lycos. And then in a tag team title match, you had Chantel Jordan and Nina Samuels defeated Emi Sakura and Sapphire Reed. Yamashita Emerson absolutely killed it. The 6-man, could have probably. The tag team match between Masahiro Takanashi, Mei Sugiura, Kanji, and Kid Lycos was absolutely brilliant. I'm a big fan of Masa Takanashi. Mei Sugiura is so much fun in the ring. She's also bloody brilliant in the ring. As is Kanji, who is also bloody brilliant in the ring, and Kid Lycos is also bloody brilliant in the ring. So yeah, it's a great match. The tag team match was very good. Chantel Jordan, Nina Samuels, very good. Emerging team over at Pro Wrestling Eve. Huge fan of Sapphire Reed. One of the best young performers you'll see. Emi Sakura is no longer dressing like Freddie Mercury, but still loves her queen. It can depend on my mood whether I'm into Emi Sakura or not. On this occasion, it was a good match.
Sweet.
So that they were the only matches on offer. There was an interpreted dance that I wasn't really into either, but they're everywhere. Why not? I guess. Then let's go for Progress Wrestling. It's clobbering time, chapter 154. Spike Trevay beat Kid Lycos 2 in the opening match. Kid Lycos 2 got basically a pasting, had a couple of spots. That was about it. Good match though. Bullet and Kid Lycos went to a no contest. And then it was Nathan Cruz versus Paul Robinson in a good match, two good veterans. You also had Team Miller, Charles Crowley, Gene Money, and Simon Miller defeat the team of Tate Mayfairs, which is Casey Navarro, Mike Bird, and Tate Mayfairs. Interesting 6-man tag. Progress women's title match between Lana Austin and Raven Creed was good. Kanji defeated Lizzie Evo defeated Kanji. I'm just realizing they've got this clobbering time card wrong. Well, it's not the way it's presented on her thing anyway. But yeah, one of the main things is Lizzie Evo beat Kanji. It was the best women's match of the whole weekend for me. The absolute banger. Tore the place apart. In fact, it was possibly the best match on the card as well. Yeah, I think it was. In fact, I'm going with it. I'm calling it.
I would expect that with those two.
Kanji Lizzie Evo smashed it. Brilliant, amazing. Lizzie's incredible, one of the best. Kanji's incredible, one of the best. And yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. QT Marshall defeated Chuck Mambo as QT Marshall just turned up with his AAA Latin Championship and gave an open challenge, to which Chuck Mambo answered. He also had Leon Slater versus Mark Haskins in the main event. It was supposed to be Nick Wayne, but Nick Wayne picked up a knock at the earlier Defy show, I believe, and was unable to be fit for another match that evening, especially with his AEW All In commitments. And they also didn't have the RKJ versus Dave Boy Smith Jr. match, and I don't remember them actually explaining why we didn't get that match during it. And I was disappointed because I was actually really looking forward to that match. Really, really was. It was good overall. It was good. I can't say it was great. I also can't say it was bad. It was definitely a very decent show. I think it was a good way to reset from Super Strong Style 16. The stuff between Spike Trevay, Kid Lycos, and that whole bit was absolutely brilliant. There's definitely some after-match stuff that people should go out their way to watch. It is clobbering time, and I don't have time to harp on too much longer. So, good show. Rev Pro UK had Leon Slater defeat Dan Maloney in an opening round. Connor Mills retained the British Cruiserweight Championship in a six-man scramble match. JJ Gale defeated Kosei Fujita, so we'll now get to face Zack Sabre Jr. at some point. El Phantasmo and Katsuyori Shibata defeated Bullet Club War Dogs, Dave Finlay and Gabe Kidd. Zack Sabre Jr. defeated RKJ. Subculture, Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews retained the tag team titles against the Velocities, Jude London and Paris De Silva. Tomohiro Ishii defeated Luke Jacobs in the only match which a New Japan star defeated a British star.
Yes.
Oh, apart from the Zack Sabre Jr., but you know he's British. It was, but Alex Windsor defeats Hyan and Mickey James in a triple threat. Michael Oku defeated Trent Seven. There were a lot of shenanigans in that match. Will Ospreay then had another classic with Shingo Takagi that was Will Ospreay's best match of the weekend, although he was attacked by Chris Jericho after the match, which then led into his whole thing, which did make the storyline a bit weird.
Who was he attacked by first? He was attacked by Zack Sabre Jr. first.
No, Zack Sabre Jr. just came out. He didn't attack him.
Oh, my apologies. I thought he was attacked by Sabre Jr. first then.
No, Zack Sabre Jr. just came out and said, I want a shot at your
United Kingdom Championship.
Yeah, but again, we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail because I've got it down in the notes. Will Ospreay gets Shingo Takagi. He was then, as I say, attacked by Chris Jericho, which really made them matchup make literally no sense. Will Ospreay was the heel, but yet he was the face, and he had the crowd support. But Jericho was the bad guy, and Sammy Guevara used the bat, and Don Callis didn't get involved. It was all of, but yeah, carrying on. So some quick thoughts on this. Good tag team match. It was better when the Greedy Souls came out and beat both of the teams up. Go on, Greedy Souls. Should have never lost the tag titles in the first place, and should have been on this card in the first place. Zack Sabre Jr. RKJ was a very good match. Leon Slater versus Dan Maloney was a quick, short, less than 10-minute sprint because Leon Slater had to get on the train back over to Camden for his match here progress. And the women's match, and I'm really sorry to Gio No Name because that's actually what he goes by, Gio No Name. But Gio No Name and Kelly Marshall, who did the commentary for that match, but I had to turn the volume off because the fans just sung hardcore country the entire bloody match. Not the entire song either. They literally just get going hardcore country, hardcore country. Cool. And yeah, see, you're getting annoyed already, right? And yeah, after about 5 minutes, I just had to mute it, and it was a 15-minute match. Those women deserved a damn sight better than that. Alex Windsor deserved a damn sight better than that. Hyan deserved a damn sight better than that. You may be saying, oh, we were singing hardcore country because we love Mickey James and love women's wrestling. No, you don't, because if you did, you would have shut up and watched the match and cheered at points relevant. And that really wound me up. Really wound me up. It's, you know, I get it, British wrestling fans, we like to chant, we like to, but to absolutely hijack an entire match Yeah, I don't think. I think it was
British
absolutely.
wrestling fans, you've been naughty, and Andrew's very disappointed in
I
you.
think it was abhorrent. Yeah, imagine. I don't know. Do you know? Do you think it was? So you think it was okay for him to sit there and
No,
literally
not
chant
at
that
all.
for 15 minutes?
Not at all. It's just that I've let you go on your little rant about it, and I've just taken the mickey because
Yeah,
that's what I do.
it really no. Yeah, those women deserve the damn sight better, and I guarantee you, there's a bunch of fake people who say that they support British wrestling women, and I don't believe they do, because if they did, they would have chanted at the relevant times. I get it, hardcore country. It's a great little kick to her song, but you didn't need to do it for 15 minutes of an entire match. And yeah, and for that reason, I'm giving Progress a better show.
Right, let's move on. We have
Yeah,
had more names announced for the GCW UK tour with TNT Extreme on the 15th to 17th of September in Liverpool. These names are Masha Slamovich, Tony Deppen, the Dark Sheik, and Jimmy Lloyd.
yeah, I think there has been a few other names, but I think there's been quite a few announcements coming from it. A lot. I love Masha. So glad to see Masha in the UK. She is amazing, and she's so we've had new matches added to Project X, which is taking place on the Friday the 15th. We previously announced the Starboy Charlie up Robbie X, Scotty Rourke, Leon Slater Project X match, Charles Crowley versus Jordan Oliver for the TNT Extreme Championship, as well as Emerson Chain versus Rina Yamashita for the Ultraviolet Championship. We have mentioned those ones already, but do you want to tell us the new matches?
Yes. Would that be Lycos Jim taking on Los Vipers, Ares, and Latigo, as previously sort of commented on by you?
Yeah, I said I don't really have to say too much about this match because I literally said it last time round. This would be an absolutely fantastic match. Ares is incredible. I haven't seen Latigo, but I'm assuming he's great because if he's a partner of Ares and Ares is incredible, then yeah, and Lycos Jim are amazing. So going to be brilliant.
As well as that, we have Dan Maloney responding to Gringo Loco's challenge. That's going to be cool. Masha Slamovich, you're so excited about seeing her. And they've put her against Alexis Falcon for the TNT Extreme Women's Championship.
Yeah,
And
we're going to have a new TNT Extreme Women's Champion.
you know what? I think there is a genuine possibility of that happening.
Masha is an absolute I may be doing Alexa a disservice. She's amazing. But Masha, she is Russian dynamite. She is hardcore. She was the former GCW champion, for God's sake, world champion.
Yep. No,
I think we got a new women's champion.
I can see it happening. Let's hope she comes back more than once a year. A couple of matches have been announced for GCW's GCW UK show on Saturday the 16th, my birthday, incidentally. Leon Slater will challenge Blake Christian for the GCW World Championship. Rina Yamashita will go on against Session Moth Martina in a match that will go one of two ways. It will either be a fantastic wrestling match because they're both fantastic wrestlers, or it will be a complete joke about fun, hysterical comedy match because they can both do that as well.
Death match Martina.
Hardcore session. Masha Slamovich will take on Tony Deppen. And in a major battle of the heavyweights, Joey Janela takes on
You can't say that. You can't say that. You can't say that. Yes, Joey Janela versus Blue something Carava. Blue Undertaker.
Blue Pain.
Blue Taker. It's Blue Taker.
Lutica.
Lutica.
That's what you put posters up with.
Uh,
Anything announced for GCW versus TNT Extreme on Sunday the 17th yet?
no, but I did see that Helen Campbell had thrown out a challenge to Dark Sheik. So
Cool.
we could see that as one of the possible matches.
Now, as we know, TNT are not a standalone company. They have two other side companies. So, also on the 16th of September, you have TNT Ignition. And on TNT Ignition, you will have the two semi-final matches to crown the inaugural Ignition Women's Champion. Lucy Sky will take on Chantel Jordan. Lana Austin will take on Harley Hudson. Andy, who do you have for the champion and why?
I'm going with Lucy Sky.
Wow.
I know she's heavily favored in the Northwest section. She's been working really, really hard over the last year or so. She has a strong connection with the fan base at TNT Ignition and Liverpool in particular. And Harley Hudson's already got she's one half of the women's tag team champions at TNT Extreme.
Yep.
Lana Austin is amazing veteran, so I'm assuming Lana's going to go through and Lucy Sky will defeat Lana Austin because that will be the biggest win for her in the tournament.
Yeah, my money's on Chantel Jordan.
Well, she is the bad girl. She is a badass. She kicks every ass, so I can see why you'd go with that. My favorite man, MVK Falcon, yes, will be teaming with Jimmy Jackson to take on the two big boys of Synergy, Anderson Daniels and Troy Ryan.
I like Synergy. They're nice people.
Meat wagon.
Yeah, no, they're lovely people. We like them. Also, the Temple of Malum, Rob Drake and Isaac North will take on 2-Bit and Sonna Durson.
Indeed. Sonna Durson, 2-Bit, two amazing young wrestlers. Go check out our interview with 2-Bit, where he talks about the rivalry he had with Sonna Durson that turned into a friendship that now sees them tagging together.
Now, the other side company that TNT have is Sirens Fury, their new all-women's company, and Sirens Fury has put on a couple of great shows already. At this show, we're going to have ZZ versus Ali Catch, which we talked about last week. Harley Hudson will take on Helen Campbell. Rio and Lizzie Evo teaming up. There's a terrifying team to take on Alexis Falcon and Lana Austin. And Sapphire Reed will go up against my favourite female wrestler, Ivy.
She's going to get battered by Sapphire Reed. She's awesome. I love Sapphire Reed. She's amazing.
Yes, she is.
She's an incredible young wrestler. Brilliant. Ivy is an amazing veteran, and she is extremely good, and she deserves all the credit in the world. It's not just GCW coming to the UK, though. It is NJPW coming to the UK for Royal Quest. Big Daddy Dan, he spoiled it earlier. He told you that Zack Sabre Jr. came out and challenged Will Ospreay for a shot at his IWGP UK Championship at Royal Quest. If he can get past
Yota Tsuji.
Yota Tsuji, exactly. Sorry, I've lost my notes and I can't get them back up.
That'll be a great match as well. Also, Shingo Takagi has been announced for the show. He's lost his notes. So I'm going to tell you all about Impact Wrestling, because Impact are in the UK for a 3-day 4-show tour. They're starting in Glasgow on the 26th of October. They're going to be in Newcastle on the 27th of October. And then they are going to Coventry, which isn't the first place you'd think of, but have been putting on some great shows. They are going on the 28th of October to do a double show in Coventry. It's great. And one of the shows while they're over here is going to be a pay-per-view. The Turning Point pay-per-view will be taking place in Nottingham on the 27th. And they have announced the one, the only Billy Goat himself, Will Ospreay.
Indeed. And it's Newcastle on the 27th.
That's what I said.
You said Nottingham.
Oh, okay.
You said Newcastle the first time round, but then you said Nottingham when you said the second part. We just don't want our viewers getting confused.
Hardcore country.
Yes, Newcastle, and it's really thrown into my thing because I was thinking to go to New Japan, but of course going to New Japan wouldn't try me going to travel down south. Of course, I would just stay with the in-laws, but I also live in the northeast, and Newcastle's not that far off me. I would have to get a hotel. So it comes down to what's going to cost more, because tickets are about the same. Ticket prices for roughly, the not decent seats, because I'm still not paying for front row.
Well, look at it this way: the beer
row
will be cheaper in Newcastle.
That's very, very true. So we'll come down to what is cheaper: the hotel in Newcastle or the travel back down south by train. We'll find out.
You'll probably get better seats in Newcastle as well. So yeah,
probably yes. Although I do like the copper box layout, because I would sit on the bleachers, but like not at the back of the bleachers, but sort of like on the lower bleachers, but above the people sitting below, so that way you got a clear view.
You're over-explaining, Andrew.
Don't get a floor seat. Get a raised seat.
Progress! Chapter 158, The Long Halloween, on 22nd of October. Chat to my wife about this show because I'm very tempted, because I would love the opportunity to see Eddie Kingston in person.
It's a good announcement for Progress. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to deny the fact that Eddie Kingston is very well liked, a very well loved wrestler. I still will never get over what is the fascination behind him.
That's fair enough.
He just does not appeal to me whatsoever.
That's
but
fine.
Then again, Spike Trevay does appeal to me. So what type of person am I?
But on the same card is someone that will appeal to you and doesn't appeal to me.
No. So he's actually making his debut this weekend, but will be the weekend after this, by the episode comes out, which is Yoshiki Nomura. He's going to be at Progress on the 9th and the 10th for their shows in Sheffield and Birmingham. I believe he's got a shot at RKJ for the Atlas Championship in one of those matches, and the other one he's taking on LJ Cleary. Yes, I've seen him at Progress, and you know what? I'm a big fan. He is a big boy, a really big boy. He's a big meaty man.
Speaking of big meaty men, can I go off on a tangent for 10 seconds?
Go on a tangent about big meaty men.
Have you seen who the new Cruiserweight champion is in Rev Pro?
Oh, yes, I did see this. Now, I wanted that we'll have to double check, because I saw something about him winning, but then I saw Connor Mills moaning, saying that he needs to be brought out and re-weighed, because he was weighed for their match at the whole what's it called show, the anniversary show. He had to have a weigh-in to be added to the match. But now Connor Mills is like, no, he needs to be weighed again, because he might have. So I'm going to see how this plays out.
We are, of course, talking about the Eastern Butcher. Yes. So let's discuss that again in the next show, and we'll have a whinge about that.
We'll find out where we're at with this. But yeah, he was part of the Cruiserweight anniversary match, but he had to get weighed the show before to. Apparently, he was 204.5 pounds. He did lose a lot of weight, don't forget, during his time at old NXT UK. He got himself into incredible shape, but
He did.
muscle does weigh more than fat.
Yes, yes, it does. As I must admit, I'm going to be arrogant and say I'm finding out at the moment.
But yeah, so Yoshiki, he's a big boy. For the heavyweight wrestling fans, are gonna absolutely love him. He had a recent tag match against Saxon Huxley and Timothy Thatcher. Good appearances for himself. He had good matches throughout the N1 victory, but I don't think he actually picked up a win during the entire tournament. So he's now on his excursion. I hope to see him in the UK for some time. I'd like to see, because I'd like to get a chance to see Inamura, and I'm not sure I can go to Sheffield following Newcastle this weekend.
Right. Okay, moving on. British Wrestling Revolution. 2 huge championship matches have been announced for BWR's Revolution Roulette on the 23rd of September.
Talking about heavyweights.
Yeah, Will Cruz, proper heavyweight, will defend his heavyweight championship against Rampage Brown, proper heavyweight.
Yeah, told you.
That'll be good. That'll be a big, lots of suplexes. I'm seeing a lot of suplexes happening in that match.
Absolutely. Plus, Ivy defends her newly won women's championship against the former champion Tonga. Of course, Ivy only won the belt with the help of ZZ, who will be there to accompany Ivy once again.
Well, you say that. I mean,
but I told you, Ivy. She's despicable. Despicable.
we'll skip that. Talking about heavyweight wrestling, tell me about Catch Pro Wrestling.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to Catch Pro Wrestling and their hostile tournament coming on the 24th of September. There are only 8 competitors in this tournament. I'd love to see more. Maybe next year we can get hostile even bigger. So get out there, support hostile, because British heavyweight wrestling, it is on a resurgence. There are so many great heavyweights in the British wrestling scene, just as there are amazing cruiserweights, and we have a lot of great cruiserweights. We also have a great heavyweight scene, and they need to be shouted out more. So first round matches, we've got Troy Ryan versus HT Drake, KC Payne versus Big T Justice, Nathan Cruz versus Brady Phillips. Rob Drake has recently been announced for the tournament. So I'm assuming he'll be in the final first round match against Will Cruz, who was previously announced for the tournament. Loving a bit Rob Drake. He's getting about now.
He is indeed. Nathan Cruz versus Brady Phillips. I am very excited about.
Two great wrestlers, so yeah, there should be a great one there. You've also got a match between Lucy Sky and Lily Winter and Joe Kessler versus Leon Slater to break up that heavyweight action. Give you a little, like ice cream sorbet, is this a little taste cleanser?
Yeah. Now, Roy Johnson's Everything Patterned is on again on the 29th of September. This is the latest installment of Everything's Patterned. I am really excited for a number of these matches.
Tell me about them.
Alexander Roth versus Levi Muir. We've discussed before how good Alexander Roth is, and Levi Muir is an absolute hoss.
Absolute hoss.
Warren Banks, who I absolutely love.
I absolutely love. In fact, I love him more.
Versus your friend and mine,
Smashing Mike. See, look, I've even got a Warren Banks peak T-shirt to prove it.
Yes, you have. Smashing Mike versus Warren Banks is going to steal the show. Although what could come in a close second, KM Lane is taking on Ronnie Knox. Now, Ronnie is awesome. Real great technical wrestler. She is absolutely fantastic. Trains a lot with Smashing Mike, for that matter. That's going to be great. We've also got Roy Johnson, Naremi Otunde, and Harrison Leon taking on GM1 and Levi Grace.
Livy Grace,
sorry.
Yes. Yeah, that's going to be massive. You know, we always like to get behind with Johnson's everything patterned. It's something that's desperately needed in wrestling. So that is at the Main House Cabaret in London.
Yeah.
So go support, go support.
Now, that kind of rounds up our news for today, but this hasn't come out yet, but it's going to come out. So let's discuss the show that we will have released a few days ago. Your interview with the Prince of Pace himself.
Our exclusive interview with the Prince of Pace himself, Callum Newman, and his final interview before he goes off and joins the New Japan Dojo. And it is the New Japan Dojo proper. He's gonna get his head shaved in the dojo. He wasn't even allowed to cut it before he went. He's getting his head cut in the dojo himself. He's going to be in the black trunks. They're gonna strip him down. They're gonna rebuild him, and he's going to be even better than ever because he, you know, we mentioned last week, he's immensely talented.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please go out of your way to make a point of watching that show.
His debut show should be available for free on New Japan app as well on the 7th. It's the 8th. I'm assuming it's going to be free even once it's aired, but I do know it's going to be. But I just want to point out, we interviewed Callum over a year ago now, first time possibly, and then interviewed him about 8 months ago as well. So over a year ago, and more recently 8 months ago as part of CBF. I want to talk about how much that young man has grown up, how much much more sure of himself he seems. He's matured a lot in the time that we've known him. I can't wait to see what he does in New Japan, and yeah, go check out that interview. And
one other thing I want to point out is this might be the last time you see me looking like this.
Are you shaving it?
No, I've been threatened. You've already seen me be attacked by Vinnie Cray, and he says that he's going to cave my face in at the show at UBWX on the 9th of September in Hitchin, if he sees me there. And I can tell him now, I'm going to be getting in that ring. So we shall see what happens. And we'll see next week if I still look like this.
Indeed. I saw what he did to you, and I put it out there that everybody should go to UBW in Hitchin on the 9th, support UBW, support the incredible cause, support our Big Daddy Dan, and to boo that man that is Vinnie Cray.
Thank you.
Go on, Vinnie. Take him. Get him, Vinnie. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, I would just like to say, remember to always support British wrestling, always support the British wrestlers, always support the British wrestling photographers, the media guys, British wrestling podcasters, and all those in between, and just support each other. And remember to be good. Don't feed the trolls.